feel like my community's pretty small.
All right.
And also
It's nice that I don't have to do for
Hi everyone. Thanks for showing up. I'm so glad to see everyone.
Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And for driving from Montes, we have a lady coming from Ophir. She might be trickling in a little late, but yes, thank you all for showing up. And I also want to really thank Cimarron Books and Nicole out there for keeping it open after hours for us, which is really rad. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that we can meet as community because it's so important. And we're here to dive into my book a little bit, and I'm excited to share with you all how it came about. And I want to kind of tell the story of its creation, and then we're going to dive into some of the poems themselves and dig in a little bit. And some of you have read it, some have not, but for you that have, I want to kind of hear in particular that you want to talk about, or we'll see how it flows. And yeah, that's tonight. And what I think I want to start with a little bit of silence. That's just how I roll. Let's just come into being right here, right now. So let's just find ourselves in that comfortable seat. Dropping into our breath. Anything you're holding from your day, release it with your exhale. And filling yourself up with fresh, long, deep inhalation. Receiving it fully. Just a few more moments here, riding on the wave of the breath. And with that, let's come back together, appreciating the ultimate teacher of silence, from which this came. It's called At the Entrance of the Cave, Contemplations for Inner Digging. I'm going to start by reading from the back of the book, and then we'll kind of dive inwards. Offering an invitation to your inner sanctuary. This collection of poems invites you to trust in the unfolding stillness of your own deepening companionship. Elena Brower, best-selling author of Hold Nothing, Practice You, Being You, and Softening Time. Generous, spacious, grounding, nourishing. Every page an invitation. Every word a chance to see the world and the self more clearly. Hansa Devi steeps us in paradox and mystery, the universe pulsing in a handful of words. At the entrance of the cave is a luminous celebration of being. Rosemary Watola Trummer, best-selling author of The Unfolding and host of The Poetic Path. In her debut collection of poetry, At the Entrance of the Cave, Hansa Devi digs deep into the sacred, the raw, and the real. In essence, this is a collection of poetic contemplations. It explores topics such as impermanence, deep longing, attention, the paradoxes of existence, connection, our stories, ebbs and flows of life, love, presence, and purpose. This collection flows through the veins of non-dualism, holding the fragrance of Advaita Vedanta, Kashmir Shaivism, Buddhism, and other wisdom traditions. It's a collection that will keep unfolding before you every time you open it to nurture contemplation. Each poem serves as a doorway into the mystery of life. Hansa nudges you to stay as the witness, embodying presence and gratitude, while in the midst of experiencing all facets of life. And every everything in here is pointing us to see and feel and connect with that which is found beyond the words. Deep gratitude for this life, alongside my partner, mirror, beautifier, light, and beloved Yotiji. Satyameva Jayate. The foreword. These aphorisms, koans of sorts, have come through in moments of openness, as food for contemplation over the course of many years. They have become dear friends and beloved allies. The more I let them fill my being, the more they unfold. The unveiling and revealing seem endless. Each is represented here as they originally came through, with only minor edits in a handful of cases, to hold the same frequency as the initial message. I view these as teachings that dropped into my lap in moments when I needed them. Each has certainly continued to reveal perspectives and understandings that simply keep unfolding in their mystical and often paradoxical ways. These divine riddles are treasures that have kept me company along my journey, something I feel compelled to share, as they may serve you too. And thus, in the true spirit of detachment, reciprocity, and service, they are shared with you here and now. A gift from life back to life. May they hold and nurture your being. May they serve the unfolding and kindle the flame of truth within you. Om Tat Sat. And that's really how this came about. These poems are short, koan style, haiku style, kind of riddle-like. Sentences, I would call them downloads sometimes, started coming when I was a teenager. I was going through a lot of big emotions. And they would literally guide me through my day-to-day. And some of these would just echo inside me for days, weeks, months, years. And it was in certain chapters that they were really prevalent. And it's been fascinating to collect these I've always been journaling and been collecting these, and to look back at them, where they started and how they felt in me as they kind of came to me, and then how I've dissected them throughout decades of life. And I put this together from a very kind of egotistical place, because I was writing my other book that I'm working on, and I found myself having a total writer's block. And I was like, it was flowing, and I was hundreds of pages in, and it was just not coming anymore. So I was wondering what's in the way. And then my attention was brought to old writing, and I decided that I had to kind of test to see if I released that, would it actually affect where I'm at now. And that was the exact thing that happened, so I'm glad I listened. The moment I started putting this together in terms of compilation and order and layout and all of that, the other stuff started flowing again. And so I didn't know who this was for, more than that I needed to do it. And I didn't want to make it a complicated thing, so I self-published. And I also wanted it to be in its exact form, the way it kind of came through, and not kind of edited in a different way or had to look a certain way. So that's that. The downloads, I guess we should just dive into it. That's probably better. So the one I put at the very beginning is actually one of the newer ones. It came through maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We were living at the firehouse at the time. This was when we were involved with Pandy and the handpan scene. And I'll just read it and then we can go into that. At the end of the day, we give the pearls away, leaving the collection of knowledge at the entrance of the cave. At the end of the day, we give the pearls away, leaving the collection of knowledge at the entrance of the cave. Oh. And this was one of those downloads that came late at night as I was falling asleep. Often they come as I'm trying to fall asleep, and I either rush to write them down, or I'm like, if this is supposed to be remembered, I'll remember it in the morning. That's 99% of the time I don't write it down.
Or she'll be in the bath and go, get a piece of paper.
I have a lie. True. So it's either late at night, early morning, in the bath. So I had written this, and I didn't necessarily go too deep into the context or meaning of it. And I was texting with Trevor Hall at the moment, and we were sharing book recommendations back and forth. And I remember sending it to him, or I went back to bed, grabbed my notes, sent it to him, and he totally loved it. And I was like, whoa, okay, I guess I gotta sit with this one a little bit. So I did, and for me it became very obvious that at some time we got to let go of all of our practices, all of the knowledge. We know this, like, theoretically in our head, that we got to let go of it all, but the invitation was really to step past that threshold into our heart and leave all that other stuff behind. And it's in that experience, the direct experience, where it's at. Not necessarily all the things that we've learned, no matter how profound it might be. Even these things, however profound they might feel, it's when we go past that and drop that. And so it was really important for me that the book represented that, and that's why it's called At the Entrance of the Cave, because this is not about the poems themselves, it's where it brings you to the entrance of your own cave and how you truly connect with your own deeper self, right? Which is same in all of us, but still you gotta step past that threshold. So yeah, that's why I named it the way I did. Another one that has served me a lot, which came through when we were in New Zealand, this was 2010, and I was doing my daily sadhana outdoors every day because, one, nature was amazing. Even if it was pouring rain, it was just, gotta be outside. Huh?
Just because of this, talk a little loud.
Okay. But basically we were going through a lot of kind of big topics, conversations, where is life going, what are we doing, that type of stuff. And the poem is, if you forget how radiant you are, close your eyes and meet yourself again. And this was so helpful at the time. If you ever forget how radiant you are, close your eyes and meet yourself again. And again, this is just a voice, it's not me saying it. I can't take any credit for any of this, but I heard it somehow, and I took that to heart, and I sat with that for days, months, and it keeps coming up, right? Whenever we doubt something, or whenever we find ourselves slightly clouded or veiled by whatever our mind wants to tell us, right? And so for me, that was really helpful to kind of come back to that, the essence. Another one that I've been sitting with a lot is, well, I've sat with all of these a lot. Find out who or what is hiding in the longing of becoming. Find out who or what is hiding in the longing of becoming. And in our culture, we're so eager to strive or become a better version of ourselves, even in the pursuit of spiritual pursuits and wanting to be a better person. But what is it in us that says that it's not already here? And the becoming becomes such a, I feel like it can become a spiritual trap. And it's something to sit with, and like, what is here? And why am I wanting something different? Who am I to want something different? Another one that might seem kind of, that I actually was like, should I really put this in the book? But it was one of the most profound ones for me. And it just says 3 words on the page, because it is just be. Just be. And that was one of those things that I would Sharpie write on my wrist. I was late teens, and I was so, at that time, very, 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 very angry, carrying a lot of rage. And it would literally help me ride the waves. And who am I without these emotions? Just be. What does that mean? Who the heck am I? And then we go further in life, and we have all of these, spiritual guides tell us, who are you? Who am I? And really diving into that. It was probably a good 2 decades after that came and was written for a long time on my arm. I read Be As You Are by Ramana Maharishi. And then it started to make sense, right? Because I had a different framework. It didn't necessarily... It was the same process. And in our day and culture, we're so, we hear a lot, it's not about the doing, it's about the being, and I feel like it's kind of the trendy thing to talk about right now is, moving beyond the doing into being, which is helpful and, great. It's the same thing there. We often kind of get stuck in that mental exercise, but it points us to who am I? And to really allow yourself to go there, who am I without the identity of my job or the roles that we play or who I have showed up as or what people call me or what does it mean to just be? And it's something that if there's one thing that I think this entire thing is about, it's that. And it's so freaking hard to just be. Like, we are so good at busying ourselves, whatever the distraction is, right? And so yeah, I was putting it in here, and I was like, this feels childish to put it here, but literally it's something that I think one can dissect for a lifetime. Because we take on different type of cloaks in different parts of our lives, in different phases. There is a temptation to share this moment as if there is an other. There's a temptation to share this moment as if there is an other. And this is a perfect example on like how semantics have played a huge part in this. I would just not necessarily do anything but write it down, right? And then I would really try to dissect it. It's like, who is the other? As if there is another moment? No, there's only now. There's only this moment. As if there's another moment? Yeah, that's fictional. Or as if there's another person. In reality, there's not. And so it's just a perfect example of how I continue to pull on the strings in each of these and kind of unravel, and you come to different type of angles of the same thing or from the same poem, depending on where you were at in that very moment, what stands out to you, right? Your gifts were never yours and not meant to keep. Your gifts were never yours and not meant to keep. That one keeps me in check. Love is to see the profound in the ordinary and to know that it's all the same. Love is to see the profound in the ordinary and to know that it's all the same. And to me, that speaks of the level of presence that we bring to it. I would love to hear if you want to jump in and if something stands out to you. This is not necessarily about me talking. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, but
I'm not sure if I have more people jumping in.
yeah, if there's something, if there's something that stands out in any of these, I'm curious to hear what comes. And Kim, you read the book too. Like, if there's any poems that I don't know speak to you, I want to hear, because like I said, I didn't know why I put this together really, more than to kind of move it on.
I just want to speak to the last one you just read.
Yeah.
But, just for the past, I'd say, couple of weeks, I've just had this immense happiness from just finding the profound in the everyday. And I think you actually brought that up one of the last times I went to Monday nights. And I think it's because I was really ill for a while, and multiple times for the past couple of years, and just being so thankful to be alive and healthy and in such a wonderful place where we live, you know, and that just even just taking a breath is a miracle, just to remember that, you know, just seeing a bird fly by, and just a moment of bumping into somebody you didn't expect to, and having a sweet exchange, you know, and just finding just immense joy in just that. Even if I don't get to do my spiritual practices, or things didn't go, you know, went crappy in my mind of what it was supposed to, just finding the profound, how did you say it again, the profound and the mundane?
The ordinary.
In the ordinary.
Yeah.
Maybe that was partly sparked by your suggestion, Sangha, a while back. But also I think just feeling healthy again, you know, after not knowing what I was sick with for quite a while. It was quite scary, you know, and coming out on the other side of it, and just
Well, yay for being open to, like, staying that open, I guess I should say, and to turning that attitude towards gratitude.
Yes, exactly.
We're grateful you are healthy.
Yes. Without that, I couldn't do my spiritual practices. I mean, I was just like freaking flailing fish, you know.
Yeah, and that's like the deepest part of the surrender is just giving it all up, which we will all be forced to do one day.
So thanks for that reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that ties into one of my favorites, let thy presence be thy prayer. Let thy presence be thy prayer. Because let it be a living prayer, right? And if we can really do that, what an insane ripple effect that would have in our, you know, field, in our sphere, in our community. Definition veils the portal to presence. Definition veils the portal to presence. And how to lessen the grip of the mind if we want to be truly present. How do we show up without that commentary? Or, defining the happening. We're quick to do it, right? Routine imbued with reverence becomes ritual. Routine imbued with reverence becomes ritual. And I'm just brought back to, you know, when these things landed with me, how it seems so obvious. It's like, yeah, duh, like a lot of these, right? But if we can truly apply that in our day-to-day, and in the most mundane and the most routine, how rich the experience becomes by just the shift of attitude. And so, I don't know, I still try to live that. Bondage and liberation says more about the perception of the individual than the nature of being. Bondage and liberation says more about the perception of the individual than of the nature of being. We keep ourselves in that box. one that I remember Elena stood out to her was, it's all a continuous satsang. And satsang means company of truth or conversations with truth. It's all a continuous satsang. If we see our entire life as such, it becomes, again, that living prayer, right? That we always have the opportunity to be in communion with that, whatever you call that, self, God, universe, spirit, and everything's part of it. Everyone is part of it. These are not new concepts for you guys. I mean, it just happened to be that this is what helped me, and I just compiled it. And we all have our own unique ways of saying it, right? So whatever hits home, and this hit home for me.
Hansa, would you go back to the one about the living prayer?
Yeah. Let thy presence be thy prayer.
That's really striking for me right now because we're in times where our communities, our families, like our action is so needed, but come from a prayerful place, and that seems like such a. That one really resonated with me right now. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that and saying that, and yeah, however we can amplify that, right? But it starts with each and every one of us as little nodes or acupressure points, right? And then it has kind of a ripple effect out.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
The word Kevalam,
Kevalam?
have you heard that word?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, since your title of the book is
Of the cave.
I think it has to do with the cave of our heart.
Yeah, I'm
And so
sure.
you really spoke to that at the beginning.
Yep.
Kevalam, it's like the sacred chalice of your heart from
Okay.
a spiritual perspective. So
Okay.
anyway, I'm going to look up Kevalam more now.
Is that Latin?
I think it's Sanskrit.
Sanskrit.
Yeah. Because there was something you said at the beginning about, it's not about the practices, it's about, presence in you. And so, anyway, it just reminded me of this moment I had with the organizer of the Sangha Fest.
Mhm.
And there was a gentleman who was, one of these bhakti artists that was paid to come, and he gave a talk about the guy who put on the festival, and he talked about the Kevalam and described that this whole festival is actually really just this beautiful blossoming of his Kevalam, of his expression of that, of his heart center, and it was so moving. I was like, because I could feel that in the whole festival, and so that's hearing you talk about at the entrance of the cave, and from a spiritual perspective, it's helped realizing I should read more about Kevalam, what that really means.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because it's also another that I didn't talk about. I think we, in this, like, for anyone who's drawn to spiritual pursuits, there is this kind of inner debate often about, like, seclusion and solitude and renunciation and wanting to go and live in a cave or a monastery or whatever it is. Like, I think a lot of us have had those thoughts. Like, it would be so much easier if we were not in society and we got to just do our practices 24/7. And there is this draw to, do that. And I feel like the real renunciation is not that physical removal. It's actually how you can drop into your own heart cave and let go of all that other stuff. And yes, it's easier if you're physically removed from distraction, but is that something you can practice within your own being? And I think that's really the true renunciation is that. And so that was key, like that's what it means for me is, that full surrender of all of it. Yeah.
I was thinking about something, but when you were saying something is sometimes being sick is the practice,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff that comes up when that happens, so
Oh yeah, I had a lot of rage about the medical system.
yeah, there's a lot that comes up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
sometimes being sick is the practice.
Yeah, it's true. Whatever comes our way, right? It's ushering our evolution in one way, shape, or form, whether we want to see that or not. Anyone who's read the book who wants to talk about anything specific? Yeah, but yeah, please. Go.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's
there's
this
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. So yeah, this one, I read it. I've read it several times, and
Okay.
I kept going back to it. Going, I really don't understand this
Okay.
one.
So
Wanna
it
read it?
goes along with the theme we were just talking about. Renounce not your home, but the tendency to differentiate. Renounce not your home, but the tendency to differentiate.
What do you mean by home there?
Well, and it could be a physical home, right? Removing yourself from your and wanting to leave your home, wanting to leave your life in the world. But really, what with renunciation, it's not about removing yourself from your home, but the tendency to differentiate. What is it that says in you that it's better over there than over here? You're gonna bring all of that with you wherever you are. And I mean, for me, it was really obvious growing up with an alcoholic mother. She would bring that problem with her wherever she went. That was so obvious, no matter how many times she would move or change the situation, unless she dealt with it here. And so I think it's kind of rooted in that. We are coming with whatever you're not letting go of, you're bringing with you, period.
Kind of like wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah. So it's not about changing the structure around you, the cave or the home or the physicality, but the tendency to differentiate that somehow that's different and better than here.
For me, I want to talk with you offline about that because it's really personal. But there's a moment where I really wanted to be monastic.
Yeah, same. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
And I was sent back here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by a nun. I was, and I was really pissed off.
Well, you have more stuff
What
to do in
sense
the
was
world.
The self-realization fellowship with Yogananda. Yeah, I was really upset, and it's still taking me quite a while to integrate why.
Yeah, we can certainly talk. For
So,
sure.
Yeah, because and I do know that what you said before this is about the practices do help you though tap into your cave element to then bring that out into community. You know.
But we gotta do the work. That's the thing. We gotta get to the point where there is no me to bring it back to society. It's not even in service. It's you're so not even attached to it. You know, there is something to be said about dropping all, including wanting to be in service. You know what I mean? It gets sticky. It gets, kind of heavy. It's not but we come with a pure voice then. We come with a pure, and I'm not saying you're not there. It's just a matter of it's such a deep process, I guess. I don't know how, you have anything to fill in? No? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna honor
I wanna
Deidre.
hear
Deidre's the one who asked about that one. So did you have any other questions about that?
Yeah,
I
did it
kind
make
of
sense?
No, it made sense what you were saying. When I think of the word differentiate, I don't think of it in the way you were describing it. So
Okay.
hearing you talk about it made it more understandable to me. I think of differentiation more from a psychological perspective of we differentiate from our parents, we differentiate as we become adults, and then we differentiate in many other ways too, where we're becoming who we are. So I couldn't get it. I was I'm on that definition of differentiate, and I couldn't understand. Same.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up because it's always interesting to hear how it's perceived, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I didn't toy with the lingo at all. I just
Right.
wrote it down the way it came, and then I can totally understand where you're going with that. And I think that for me, it's coming back to I want to say not detachment, but it's the viveka. What is the English word? Discernment. Thank you. And how that is more broader. I feel like differentiate, the way you said it, is more pinpointing. But again, this is all semantics, which is like, this is where we get stuck in the head. But I love
but
it
that's
because
why it
the
helps
head has
me.
to understand.
Yeah, it helps
exactly.
me to hear
Totally.
how you were thinking
Totally.
of that.
Totally.
And you also have to keep in mind that this is her second language.
Right.
Swedish is his first.
Yeah.
So I, being her husband for so long, have sometimes we'll get into a conversation and I'll hear the words, but I know she means something different
Yeah.
because honestly it's where the heart is coming from in there, and maybe the words are misconstrued slightly. But that's why when you look, you feel it when you read these more than you interpret it with your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
how old were you when you started learning
English, I was 10, but then they started teaching it in school at younger and younger. So my sister started at 8, and then my brother at 6.
Oh, and how old were you when you came to the U.S.?
It's first time 16.
Oh, so I have something about that. Because my parents are immigrants, so when you learn English in Europe, you're getting more of a little bit of a British teaching of English, and they
I
actually.
got scolded when I came back with American English. I've never been thrown out of a classroom, but that one class, and I was like, screw you, I'm out.
So the use of the words is actually
More proper.
more proper and actually a little different in the way they use words. So
Yeah.
that might be part of.
Yeah,
Because
I
I've noticed that with
much
my
more
parents.
British English in my
Yeah.
learning of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting with your family who all try to speak English with me for 5 or 10 minutes, it's very proper English for sure.
Yeah.
Don't know
Yeah.
the
Well, we
slang.
don't know the slang when you don't know
So,
And but I mean, some of the English words can actually mean slightly different
Yeah.
if you're in Britain versus
Yeah.
the United States.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that in my parents, where there's a misunderstanding between me and my parents, is because they're still in that British, because that's how they learned it.
Yeah. No,
Not
that's a good point.
Yeah, American English. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. I just want to say I have to go, only because I'm going to do Sangha with some meditation. Thank you so much. I am so looking forward to connecting more with you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and good to see all of those of you that I know and don't know. So I'm just not bowing out because of non-interest.
No, I know. Thanks for showing
much
up.
love.
Kim, any ponderings since you read it? Anything that stands out to you?
Honestly, it's been a while since I opened it,
Okay.
so, and I didn't get all the way through.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Read a couple words and fall asleep.
So,
Meditating on it.
yeah, exactly. But
I'd like to make a personal comment
Sure.
about the title, The Entrance to the Cave. When I think of the cave, when I start to meditate, I'll close my eyes, and if it's a really good day, then I will see, with my eyes closed, like a black hole. And it may be vibrating, it may change shapes, but I tell myself, enter the abyss. Find what's there.
it's beautiful. It's truly where it's at. And you might call it emptiness or void or abyss. Some call it fullness, pure potential,
Quantum.
quantum.
the mystery.
Exactly. And that's truly, if we dare to go there, we're receiving the full teaching. This is just pointers to there. Truly.
Thank you for the pointers.
Yeah. Well, thank you for going there. Honestly, that's where it's at. That's why I think it's important to drop into the silence, right? That's really where it's all at. Yeah.
I'll just make a comment because,
Yeah.
as you said, everybody has a different interpretation of what you're saying, or, and I focus on differentiate. So I grew up in a middle class, gotta leave it to Beaver world, and I wanted to see the world because I wanted to see how different everybody was. And what I came back thinking is there is no differentiation. We all have the same, desires to have a roof over your head, food on the table, a better life for your kids. It doesn't matter if you're in Africa, South America, Asia. Those are the things that don't differentiate, that we're all the same. And that was, that was very, that was a revelation for me, coming from a place where everybody kind of thought the same. We grew up in a very homogenous scenario, and to go out and experience the world through other people's eyes, but knowing that at the end of the day, we're all the same.
Absolutely. Processing the same emotions and having, it might just be a different story,
all the
but the
same.
underlying themes are very much the
Yeah.
same. And that's why we're all gathered here, but we all have different spiritual practices and different beliefs, and the layers might be different, but at the core, like you say, we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hugely important to remember in this day and age when there's so many, you know, differentiating opinions and beliefs. To come back to that, what is it that we do share? What is the common ground? And it's the groundlessness of being, or the void, or presence, whatever you want to call that, at the heart of it.
It's hard to contemplate that in some segments of our society.
Sure, but that's the practice. I agree, though.
When I think about differentiating, it's I have the tendency to look over there and think that there's something better.
Right.
And there's a saying that, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. You just never know what the other guy's water bill is.
Yeah, exactly. What are they carrying over there?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own weight, right?
And Hansa, just only because I caught it, Paul, not to correct you, but I was looking at the title at the entrance of the cave, and I was thinking about your choice of words rather than at the entrance to the cave.
Yeah,
which is
and-
what you said, Paul.
yeah.
And to me, because to the cave implies you there's
Not
some
somewhere
desire
else.
to go in, or
Exactly. It's elsewhere.
and this is really like beautiful. That just that one word, two letters.
I'm glad you caught that, because I
You
had
know?
a lengthy discussion with Elena, because she was
Uh-huh.
correcting me, or she just wrote it, and I was like, no, this is how it came. I'm gonna stick with this. And she's a famous author. You better listen, you know. And I had to like really expound on that and to like, no, it's not. It's like, you know, you talk about a pilgrimage into presence. It's not to presence, because it's not elsewhere. It's just dropping into. So I'm really glad you caught that, because it's those fine-tuned things, right? And even in the book, there's going to be a few places where it came through, say, a word like yourself. In my head, when it came, it was together.
Yeah.
And then you can, you know, obviously separate the two, and it's yourself, and usually talking about your higher self, or whatever you want to call that, right? But here we are in this physical body, like yourself, embodying that self.
Yeah.
And so it's like bringing it full circle. But I had to dissect that over years to be like, why is it not spelled out into words? And I didn't want to change it. But for me, those type of things is like the nuances that I...
Well, and
dig
it's also
into.
the power of poetry,
Right.
succinct, few words, like each one matters.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. Beautifully
And-
done. Yeah.
Well, again, I can't... I just wrote down what I heard.
Well, and again, that to me, that's about differentiating. So you
Yeah.
know, it's
But
like
then mine
the
wants to go in
details
and
of the
do that.
differentiation,
Yeah.
of and to, and what that means,
Right.
or yourself or yourself. You know, so it's like there's power in that. I think of that as there's power in that, and we can go too far with it and
Totally.
forget
Mm-hmm.
the you know the unification and the oneness and the sameness.
Right. But it's a very, what I think, healthy exercise, because it brings you to what your core value is, or what your perspective is in that moment. And then you might drop that perspective, and you might come back around to a different way of looking at it, but at least you have that internal dialogue of really, that's what inquiry is. And that's why marinating in those differentiating ways of looking at it is healthy, I think.
I think it's interesting that it's a cave too. Why wasn't it like a door or a window or a gate?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, we need to sit with that one. There was another one in here that's talking about, maybe I should find it. Vulnerability and trust are the pillars of the doorway through which we are invited to walk. Vulnerability and trust are the pillars of the doorway through which we are invited to walk. And that can feel heavy and scary, but that doorway, again, is like that leap of faith, that trust, that knowing that calls us through. But yeah, what's on the other side? It could still be a cave, even if you go through a doorway.
that brings back the void or the black
Yeah,
hole
the
we was talking
void.
about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and doorway and window, to me, they're human made.
Yeah.
It feels very different than
That's true.
natural made.
That's true.
Like a
Well, the
cave.
cave is feels like it evokes darkness.
It's ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what?
I said it's ominous.
Yeah,
It's frightening.
exactly.
Or,
It's not like this.
Like depth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't think it's natural to like want to go into a cave. You know? Unless you're Gollum. But like a doorway, like you want to open that. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Depends on how brave you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you're carrying.
Yeah, what tools do you have to go into it?
Yeah, I was gonna say she spent a fair amount of time in dark or silent retreats.
Yeah.
So when you get a different perspective of that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not as ominous.
Right.
And she comes from a slightly different point of view from that.
Yeah.
But I would say 95% of the population definitely looks at it that way.
Yeah.
For
You gotta
sure.
really be with yourself in every possible way.
Which is scary.
Oh, it can be
Yeah,
terrifying.
it can be totally terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was recently in France and I had an opportunity to walk in the woods with no light. And I didn't, I bailed.
Yeah.
But I felt, I ended up going into a path that was where cars were coming on the road. But I definitely felt the call to walk in the darkness of the woods. Like I felt, you know, it was a forest called Fontainebleau, which is a historic hunting ground for the aristocrats back in the old French day, and it is now a popular park / place for people to go boulder and do all that stuff. So there was, I had this ideation about how much danger there was, the implication of the darkness being dangerous. And ultimately I did, I was like, I can't do it anyway, because it was dark, and I was walking through the forest, and I was like, my mind started going all kinds of places. So I think, going forward, I do have an intention to have a practice with walking in darkness, the literal darkness, or just sitting in it, because there's, like you said, in the abyss, like a lot of things come up, whether or not they are physically there or not, it's just saying with yourself.
And it's fascinating to trace that back. Where is this coming
Exactly.
from?
Why do I
my
feel
mind?
equipped?
What
Why
is
do
this
I-
like based on a previous experience?
Mhm.
Is there actually, were you afraid of the people that might be there, or were you afraid of the darkness?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, for me, in that instance, it was, I think I cherish, all of this is about attention. I think I cherish my ability to observe things. So, in darkness, right, it's something is going to catch me off guard, and I'm not going to like that, So it was, just something that really called me to sit with that more and understand what I can know and when, and for what reasons.
That's something interesting too to go off of that. Like our bodies are equipped with a physical ability to make friends with darkness. Like our eyes adjust eventually, and you can make out shapes, and like you do have a function that helps you there. Like even if when you turn off the light in your bedroom and it's pitch black and it's terrifying, eventually you can see the lamp and like you see your dresser and stuff, and it's like it gets more familiar like with time. And so that's just
cool.
an interesting extrapolation.
Yeah, as long as you don't superimpose your own fearful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a
Really
monster
look at
under
it,
the bed.
try and see it for what it is, not for what you're projecting. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Well,
kind of along the same time, I was probably one of the hardest times in my entire life. I was trying to get out of the darkness so hard. You know, I was like, I'm super uncomfy. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, I hate this. Like, I'm so mad. Like, why am I here? Like, no. And I had someone come to me, you know, just a very spiritual encounter really with this person. And I was just talking about this, and they're like, you know, like, have you ever just thought about setting up camp? Like, setting up camp here. And I was like, yeah, did you hear anything I just said? You know, like, are you listening to me? But it really changed my perspective on it, because I was like, wow, okay. What if I do stop and actually set up camp? And I did. And it was the worst time of my life. But I'm so glad I did it. You know, I'm so glad. And I know I can do it again if I have to. And I'll have such a different perspective and abilities because of that time.
Yeah.
And so I'm forever grateful for it. Yeah.
And that takes true courage in the moment, for sure. But you build resilience through that. Just spending time in discomfort, whatever it is, and the unknown is gonna, strengthen, you know, equanimity and all of these other things that have ripple effects in all aspects of our lives. So yay for going there and doing that. It's not easy. Facing our fears. Or rage. Done that too. None of this is true. All of it is true. None of it is true. All of it is true. And this really speaks to, do we see it from the relative point of view or plane? Do we see it from an absolute point of view or plane? Like, who is the one seeing this as true or non-true? Is it the little me? Is it from a other perspective as the witness or awareness, or is it the persona? And I think if we can relate to our discomfort or the emotions from those different levels, right? If we can try to extrapolate or bring ourselves into a witness point of view and a little bit, you know, have things at an arm's length distance to stay detached while we're looking at things, it's often very helpful. And then we swing back into the person and we play the game and we do all the things. But at least we're coming in with another perspective. And that's what you did in that moment. Because you forced yourself to go there.
Well, Hansa, sorry, go ahead.
No, tell me.
If we wanted to leave with a signed copy of your book tonight, how would we
The books are out there.
Yeah.
The signer is here. The pen is there. And yeah, thank you for showing up.
Yeah,
and we can definitely close here. My intention is, because now I have this audio recorded, is to on Substack, follow along on Substack. It's free. And I'm going to share the poems there and then go deeper into more of the contemplative journey I've had with each and every one of them over the next year. And I'm also doing there a monthly online Sangha session for the ones that are in the paid tier. So we have a community with these type of conversations monthly if you want to join there. And then what else is in the works?
There's not just old content, there's new stuff.
Oh, it's plenty of new stuff. And so I do write like an essay a month or 2 essays a month there on deeper topics. And then we have a commitment to practice course starting in January. If you want to, I'm going to be emailing this out, so make sure you're on the email list. But I just want to kind of mention what we have in the works. And then for the people that want to do Ashtanga, we have an Ashtanga workshop in January too. So just so you're walking away with what we got in the works.
What is that?
Ashtanga yoga is a physical yoga practice that's based on Hatha yoga and a certain lineage called Ashtanga.
It's hard.
Don't you guys think like it was sort of surprising?
Ask Polly. She's one of my long-term students.
It's as hard as you want it to be.
Yeah, you modify however you want. I used to be very militant in my teaching, and I've softened a lot. So you're more than welcome to come and try it.
Okay, I'll think about it.
She's a beautiful teacher. She's a beautiful teacher. It's so exquisite to be in her class and really get guidance from someone with so much. Like doing yoga with Hansa is a prayer.
Aww.
I love that.
Thank you, brother. It takes showing up as such too. So it
And-
goes
and
both ways.
Remind us how to show up. When and where are you teaching now?
When so we have Monday mornings at 5:45 a.m. at the Ridgway Yoga Shala, and then we have Tuesday evenings from 5:30 at the Kiva at the Chipita Lodge, and then we have back at the Shala on Wednesday nights at 6, and then the Ashtanga workshop is in January on January 10th. Thank you.
And then we'll probably organize another hand meditation type of thing sometime in January as
Yeah, I
well.
love that so much.
So yeah, just make sure you're on the newsletter list so that you have this info, because we'd love to continue to gather family of friends.
Yay.
So
And her goal is to hopefully get the second book out by the end of this year. Or by the end of 26.
oh, okay. I gotta get busy.
That's
That's public.
What's your role,
Way to go,
Guilty?
you.
He's the manager.
I got it.
There's going to be a lot of audio stuff coming, I have a feeling.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
just, that's cool. I think she's getting into audio a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it just feels like these type of conversations fill us up more than you guys know, and I feel like the time is now when we need to really, be aligned with our own core values and who we are and how we show up. So it's, it's again what the ripple effects of what we do together.
Will you tell me about this? Would you call it satsang, or what's it called for your paid subscribers?
Oh, Sangha session.
Okay, yeah. So what is that?
So basically, it's we meet once a month, and this past year we basically touched base on what people are processing, and then looking at that from the lens of the wisdom traditions that we have studied, and just kind of holding space for what people are going through. This year that's coming, I'm gonna have a topic for each month, and then we dive into that particular topic. We're gonna start with discernment in January. And then February, I think we said detachment. And then we're spinning off on that, talking about what people are processing, so that it becomes more in-depth and a little bit more guided as we enter that. And it's only $8 a month. That's like the cheapest platform I could find to do these things and grow what we want to do and to house everything. And so that's what that is. We meet once a month on there for that. And it will always be recorded, so if you can't be there live, we have recordings. If you'd rather, just listen to it at your own cadence.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's kind of my world. All right.
Thank you for
You asked
sharing.
me about, and I looked where the bookmark had been,
Uh-huh.
and it was still there, and I remember reading this one. You know it. I don't know if you want to read it. It's page 34.
Do you want to read it? Should I read
No,
it?
it's long.
34.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Oh, worn white prayer flags. Yeah. Worn white prayer flags. There is something about worn white prayer flags against a clear blue sky, the wind dancing with the fabric. There is something so graceful about the dance, the transparency of the weave against the sky. The elements playing with the essence, the space between the strings of belief, that which becomes our weave, our fabric. It's as if the flag holds a sense of I-ness, at some level not fully accepting what is, slowly letting go and dissolving its weave, just like a person melting into prayer, becoming one with the spaciousness that holds it all. Let the prayer be an offering. Give your life, get swept away. Let the colors of conditioning dissolve into nothingness, into fullness, pure potential. Your essence, beautiful being, innermost self, is dancing with the elements, yet never touched. Let the wind play, you play, and realize that the space in your weave is what unites you with the sky that you are. Om. Thank you. let us remember that when we see a prayer flag dancing in the wind, shall we? Thank you all for showing up.
Yeah, thank